Good afternoon. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in a very rainy and overcast and cloudy Lauderdale by the Sea. I think it's been raining all morning. Cooling down a bit, but wow, I think it's going to be like this all weekend. Looks the same way in the water too. Look at the water visibility and clarity. Pretty cloudy and murky down there as well. Well, not unlike our economy and not unlike our market sometimes. Cloudy, but no less the sun will shine here shortly. Let's take a look at spot prices. And first let me close that sound right there so you don't have to listen to bubbling sound the whole time. And I'll explain to you why you're listening to bubbling sound, because I did a beautiful 50-minute show. I got a mic that I usually plug in. I keep it simple. I don't know much about this stuff. Plug my mic in, do a nice 50-minute video, and I pretty much nailed everything. And lo and behold, the mic was broken. So it was a 50 minutes of silence. It took me about 2 hours to recover from the shock of having to redo this again and come up. And the first thing you think is, well, man, I got to say what I said before, and then that's impossible. So I'm just winging it again. I wing it all the time, but I thought my winging this morning was really good. Unfortunately, no one heard it but me and the fish in my fish tank. So let's take a look at spot prices. They are up from what I did my original video, so that's kind of interesting. Silver currently sitting in, let me just do a quick refresh here and see if that is still correct. 18.15 currently, silver at 24.13 and platinum at 1,036. Overnight ranges 17.87, 18.16. It looks like really silver's gone up the most dramatic. Gold, has gone up the most dramatic of all the metals. Probably has something to do with economic figures and the taper speech. Or yesterday when Powell jawbone tapering again after how many years, and people still believe it. No less. Gold seems like the biggest winner in today's market, especially after Powell's jawboning. No monkey hammering, kind of expected. Did see most of the action in the markets occur in New York Open, obviously, and until about noontime. A little delayed this morning. We'll take a look at the charts here in a moment. And did I put the charts up? I think I missed that. Yeah, I sure did. I'm going to have to put the 24-hour chart. Let me do that. 24-hour gold chart. We'll look at that first here. Our gold chart, and usually Kitco, I like to use their chart because it's the fastest and easiest one to use. 24-hour gold chart. Let's take a look at what happened to gold and when it happened. Again, as we've been discussing, same time. Let's take a look at this chart down here. It's a little more friendly to use. New York spot price opened around 8 o'clock in the morning. And look, actually, this is kind of interesting because typically the up and down action, as you can see right, when was this? This was yesterday, occurred in a certain time frame, as has been most of the trading, both up and down. The choppiness of this market has been between 8 and noontime. It looks like it's extended into past that noontime mark, and it's Friday. It's kind of interesting. So I wonder what Monday will bring, or I wonder if we see any Sunday night monkey hammering. Silver, not quite the same. Let me type in the 24-hour silver market, 24-hour silver chart here real quick. 24-hour silver, 24-hour chart, silver. That's going to be a ton of charts there. And see what we come up with. And there they are, silver price today. And I think you're going to find about the same thing here. Opening in New York is when a lot of this erratic up and down movement starts. It did kind of taper out, whereas gold seems to be climbing a little bit higher throughout the day and still climbing. And as I said, I think gold is benefiting from the Powell speech or Powell jawboning, saying that they're going to maybe do some tapering, but interest rates hikes are off the chart right now. So I think gold's benefiting from that. Silver's not benefiting so much. But needless to say, with the short contracts out there, I think silver's doing amazingly well, keeping above this $23 mark, amazingly well, and hanging on to close to 24. And as I've always said for you silver stackers out there, remember, you got to follow gold. For you silver stackers, it's good to own it as well. It's good to own gold too, but you need to follow gold because silver typically will follow where gold goes, even though it may be a bit delayed, or and so sometimes silver will go higher than gold real quick, but they basically historically always go in tandem. I think there's very few times when you'll see that they did not. When silver made that leap above the 20s up to the 30s, Silver did lag behind gold quite a bit. The gold ratio was 120 to 1 on an intraday trading. I think they showed as high as 115 to 1 in a lot of these charts. Well, there you go. There you go. And then what happened? Silver made a giant leap into those, up, like I said, from the 20s to the 30s. And here we sit kind of in the mid-20s. I think we're ready to make our next big leap. Very interesting to have an up market like today on Friday, and especially at this time of year, interestingly enough. Let's take a look at the spot prices again. Platinum sitting in that mid-$1,000 range, and palladium cracked that $2,000 mark again. So all the metals in the green currently, and again, I'll do a quick refresh. This is a static page. Just makes it much easier to discuss this stuff. 1816, so gold still creeping up. Silver kind of holding on to its high right now. Maybe it is at its high, I'm not sure. But a nice day for sure. Not a great day if you were thinking about buying the dip, because it did not happen. We've not seen our Friday and Sunday night monkey hammering for a while, although let's see what happens on Sunday night. And again, I believe silver is doing extremely well given the forces against it for the most part. So, hanging on to this $24 level. I don't think we're going to see sub $20 silver. I said it a couple times this year. I was hoping that didn't get stuck up my butt. It still could. But I've said a few times I don't think we were going to see sub $20 silver unless we see a collapse in the whole system like we saw in 2008. And if we see that happen, you wouldn't be able to buy physical silver or gold at the prices that you would see. Again, 2008, everything collapsed across the board, even precious metals, folks. I know some of you were in shock about that, but it did. And wait times for silver and gold were ridiculous, and the premiums were the same as they were at the height, with prices at half the price. So it was a crazy, crazy time in 2008 for everyone, including precious metals people. But precious metals quickly shot up. The premiums were crazy. Delivery times were late. And again, precious metals quickly shot up after that. And here we are, still higher prices, higher highs, higher lows in precious metals when you look at the medium and long-term chart. So let's move out of here and move over to, I think I talked about silver as well. I was looking at the silver bid chart. Everything seems to be happening in the morning. The forces of good and evil fighting each other in the COMEX markets. Like I said, in the mornings. But gold looks like it's going to close up well, and silver looks like it's going to close above this $24 mark for the weekend. And let's see what happens on Sunday. If it stays up on Monday and continues to go up, there's something going on for sure. Obviously. Well, let's see, why is everybody yakking about this? Well, weekly initial claims for unemployment benefits fell again. This is American Institute for Economic Research. I like to show you guys the stuff that I read personally, and I like this site because it gives you different types of opinions by very intelligent people. It's not a single narrative corporate mainstream media bullshit that they push on you all the time. Good article here, weekly initial claims for unemployment benefits fall again. And as I said, this is the pre-2020 line right here, if you take a look across that. And what they're trying to show on the graph here is that we are actually getting back to the pre-2020 levels. I'm not sure that many people realize, yeah, we're getting back to the pre-2020 levels, but remember, we were in recovery in 2020 before this all hit. Our markets were starting to finally kind of come back. I mean, job markets, unemployment was coming back after 3 and 4 years. I mean, we had some pretty tough times there, and the U.S. Misery Index, which we'll take a look at next, shows that pretty clearly. So, this recovery, so to speak, in job numbers only is a reflection of a PPE ending. Think about it. A lot of people, there's no more benefits out there, and I think they've lifted the moratorium on rents or something. So, people have to go out and get a job. That's basically what you're seeing. There was a reluctance to, because who wants to go out and get shit pay with the what it costs to, people would rather sit home and accept money. And that's a subject I got into in my first video this morning. It's like, I lost. I wish I could go back to it. I was on a roll. So anyway, weekly initial claims up for unemployment benefits fall. And Powell basically yesterday, and the reason gold went up as well, gold up over 1%. This is by Reuters. I don't know why they put Reuters on there. Maybe the same reason I'm reading Reuters, because there's nothing too much out there about gold and silver news. All right, I forgive them. I'm actually quoting it, and I'm blaming them for putting it up. I'm not a big fan of Reuters and corporate media blabbery. So, but gold up over 1% as central banks hold off on interest rate hikes. I think this is kind of probably. I would suspect that if we see the dollar index, it probably took a little crapper yesterday, and the reason we're seeing gold up and everything as well. Let's read what it says. Gold prices are poised for their best day in 3 weeks as U.S. Federal Reserve and the Bank of England indicated there were no rush to raise interest rates. I know why the U.S. did it. I wouldn't trust anything the Bank of England did. The poor UK, the people of UK, their bankers and their politicians sold all of their gold at the all-time low in the gold price many years ago. I forget, was it 1990s or something like that? The UK basically was thinking like, oh, nobody wants gold anymore. And anyway, bad move for them. But spot rose 1.3% to 1791, which even higher right now. And let's see, what else are they talking about? The Fed indicated that they are probably not going to mess with interest rates. No shit, Sherlock. I mean, was anybody really surprised about this? No one's surprised about this. The Fed has been owning this for how long now? 2010, I think 08 and 9, 10, 11 is when they started really. Well, hold on a second. We've got a chart here we could look at if we want to. Bond prices. How did I get that up there, actually? Let's take a look here. Precious metals. There's my macro trends chart. Let's take a look at gold prices and dollar correlation. This is probably what we're kind of seeing today. I would imagine the dollar index is down. And where do we go? I was just looking for it. Fed balance sheet versus gold price. There you go. All right. So take a look at this chart right here. And again, the correlations here on gold in the Fed. The orange line representing gold and the blue line representing Fed, and the Fed's buying bonds and buying treasuries and all that thing. And as you can see, 2008, there you go. Gold almost looks like gold was a telling us that the Fed was going to do this somehow, but that may not necessarily be true. But let's just take a look at what happened here and look at the correlation between these two different lines. The Fed accommodates massively right there, and you see kind of gold takes a little bit of dip, and both lines follow each other until right here where you see the Fed pumping out massive amounts of money. And this is probably not just Q, this is probably stimulus right here, mail out checks, all this stuff. This is all probably bond purchases, treasury purchases, and the things that they're talking about tapering off buying right now. But raising interest rates is just out of the question. It just seems out of the question right now. Now, what I suspect is that we're going to see that gold is going to do one of these numbers right here if the Fed starts to, well, the Fed says they're not going to stop accommodation. So I suspect that we're going to see this line spike up here pretty soon here, and even more than that. This graph doesn't go back that far, but I think we could show if it did, that would be true. Give me 1 second here, and let me see where we're going next from here. Weekly, well, anyway, there you go. Fed's jawboning interest rates, and there's not much they can do. They can't raise interest rates. We just know it's not going to happen. And I know what I was talking about. I was talking about this guy's article right here. See how I get sidetracked? The U.S. Central Bank on Wednesday signaled that it would stay patient on interest rate raises, and that it would start trimming its massive bond buying this month. The problem is that after 2008, they never fixed anything. They didn't fix the economy. They just pumped more plasma into the hemorrhaging patient, if you know what I'm talking about. So they've got a patient on the table, which is the U.S. economy in 2008. The patient's gushing blood, and at the time, the patient is not you or I, and remember that. The patient is their friends and the system. That's their patient. We're just byproducts of that somehow. When it comes to who they save first, all right? They go to the elite first, and then you're secondary. But no less, in 2008, they did nothing but bail out They did the one thing that they should have never done, is they bailed out the people that screwed up the most, all right? that's that's just I get it if it's your kids and your kids screw up and you're going to give them another chance, but American tax money, the American future, no, they gave it away for that, but no less. Boy, I'm going off here. Let me get a little sip of coffee here. They didn't fix it. And the patient, they just kept slapping more Band-Aids on it, or gauze pads, or what are those pads they call that stop people bleeding massively? There's a name for that, but they just kept packing more and more of that on, and that's what that's exactly what the purchases are. The bond purchases and the Treasury purchases, the things they're talking about tapering. That's only the stuff we know. And even if they announce that they're going to start tapering their purchases, does that mean they're going to start selling some of these assets they have, these massive amounts of assets? And as you take a look at the lines that we were just talking about, where is it? Bond prices, Fed balance sheet, right there. Look at the mass. Look, that's just incredible. And right here is where it even gets its worse. And again, a lot of that is PPE, all that stuff. The Fed has created addicts, more or less. You can look at it as a drug addict with heroin, and the patient needed a little bit of heroin to prevent them from dying, maybe back in 2008, but they can't get the patient off the drug without killing the patient. Now they're kind of screwed. They can't raise interest rates. If they raise interest rates, the governments are screwed. They can't afford to pay higher interest rates. The tax. You see what's going on with right now. No Americans want to pay more tax right now, especially since everything, a loaf of bread's $4. You want to pay more taxes, and I think they got this, but they don't have income. Where are they going to get the income from? And you think the Fed's going to kill their biggest customer, or one of their biggest customers, which happens to be governments? No, they're not going to. Well, they may let governments restructure, reset, and God, maybe we'll get into the reset thing here too as well. My opinion on what a reset is, but you think no. So my whole point of this is this just shows you is that they never fixed anything. They just continue to add more gauze to the wound and hope that the bleeding would stop. The bleeding is not going to stop. In fact, the moment they rip off the Band-Aid, which is truly taper, and again, they can say they're tapering right now, but what most people don't realize is the Fed can. The Fed doesn't have to tell anybody, even the Lord himself, whoever the Lord may be for you. And that's just, I'm just speaking in that way, saying that the Fed has really no accountability to anyone in Congress, not even the president. Okay, they have no accountability to them. Not accountability, but they don't have to tell presidents even what they're doing in the back offices. All right, so they may say they're going to taper, and the economy is just continuing to take a dump, and they're in the back room. That's not them, actually. They're back there just pumping more money into the systems. Like I said, they've not fixed anything, folks. That's the whole idea. Following that, the Bank of England kept interest rates on hold on Thursday. Again, expect the Bank of England to do anything correct? I don't think so. Dashing expectations. Look who it's being run by. My gosh. Again, I feel sorry for my UK friends. You've got the left running your entire country, it seems like. The wacky left. For a hike that would have made it the first of the world's big central banks to raise rates after the pandemic. The Bank of England leaving rates, all right, anyways, I don't want to talk about the Bank of England. Ultra-loose U.S. monetary policy has helped drive gold sharply higher since the financial crisis of the late 2000s. And this is true, with low interest rates cutting the opportunity costs of non-yield assets and inflation fear stoking demands for a hedge, okay? Well, we're going to have inflation. Is it going to be hyperinflation? Hopefully not in our time. We have ultra-loose U.S. monetary policy. Basically, that's what's been keeping the stock market so high, is buybacks, stock buybacks. I mean, companies aren't producing product or profit enough to even pay for what their stocks are really worth. This is just the greatest bubble of all time, and it's driven by cheap credit. It's driven by the Federal Reserve, and I don't think this is going to change anytime soon. I'm just wondering is when the whole market is going to wake up to the fact that they keep telling us they're going to raise rates next month, 2 months, next quarter, third quarter, second quarter. They're going to start tapering this or that, and you really don't know. And in fact, they've been saying it since like what, 2010, 2011 or something like that, or 12, after they spent a couple of years pumping a lot of money into the system. And I think that's what I was looking at on the balance sheet. Yeah, there's your pump right there. This is when they, right here. All right, we're going to try to taper off. We're going to try to taper off, and no, boom, there you go. Well, and this has a lot to do with why everything was shut down at the time too. And trust me, the shutdowns have nothing to do with something in your bloodstream. The shutdowns have something to do with the boneheaded decisions by policymakers on how to handle it. So, and I'm not going to go there again. And you know my opinion about all this stuff. Weekly initial claims. So anyway, it's always looking good for gold and silver and platinum. I never get upset when I see the things, even when they get monkey hammered $100 down. Because the beauty of the thing is, you know, when gold got monkey hammered, that $100 mark, $60, $70, $80 overnight that couple months ago, and it was clear and blatant done on Sunday night, and we know it was definitely manipulation by probably one of the commercial banks out there in thinly traded hours, probably one of the COMEX thieves, but tough to say. No less, it wasn't a fat finger. We know what they're doing and how they're doing, but we're going to continue to see higher highs in precious metals and higher lows. And the beauty of gold and silver too, the one thing that you should be very happy why you own gold and silver is because in a very uncertain environment out there, you are never going to wake up in the morning and hear your gold and silver went bankrupt. It's just not going to happen. You're never going to hear that. You know, you could wake up and hear that your retirement account's gone. You could wake up and hear that the stock that you bought is worthless now for whatever reason. It may not even be the company's fault why their stock is worthless. Maybe their building burned down. Maybe the product caused someone to die. Maybe the government shut them down. And the same thing with cryptos and things like this. This is not going to happen to gold and silver. Gold and silver is the best thing to happen to the inhabitants of Earth as far as trade and money goes because it's made by stars, not by men, not by some guy named Satoshi. It's made by colliding neutron stars. It's truly rare. Some shysters like this are not going to be able to make it themselves. This is the same people that push fiat dollars and crypto on us right here. And believe me, anyone that thinks that cryptos aren't all about control down the road, they've got it wrong. Cryptos are about adopting electronic forms of payment, electronic fiat, and at some point, governments, including the United States, in my opinion, is going to, and I've been pretty right about this stuff so far, in my opinion, at some point, the Fed, when the economy takes a giant crap, and I believe we're heading there. You're starting to see the spikes right here. I think this is just the beginning as far as the misery index goes. I'm curious to see under this administration and with the ratings that the current administration is getting, where this chart shows here for next month. Sorry about that. And actually, that's the max chart. It shows over time. But no less, things aren't looking any better, folks. They fixed nothing. I guess that's the bottom line of what I've been talking about as far as the Fed goes and all that stuff. What else can we talk about here real quick? I saw this article on Zero Hedge. Thought this was interesting. And we kind of just spoke about this too. And where is the headline for this? Technocratic elite, the Great Reset is not a conspiracy theory. This is by the Mises Institute. Didn't get a chance to read it, but again, my idea of a great reset is that things have gone wrong globally for some reason. We've come out of 2008 globally, a great economic crisis across the entire globe in 2008. And by the way, gold and silver people came out of it just fine. Now the next catastrophe was what happened in 2020. So. At some point, maybe the Great Reset really means that I believe that the Fed is going to roll out a digital Fed coin, and during our next Great Recession that I think we're looking at after the greatest bubble of all time burst. I don't know how it's going to burst and when, but it will. Not a matter of if, it will. Matter of when, not if. So when the greatest bubble of all time burst, and again, credit-fueled bubble burst. This is going to be epic in massive proportions, and you're going to be glad you had what we call wealth insurance, which is gold and silver. It's basically wealth insurance. Make sure you hold on to some money, and it has for 5,000 years. Gold has outlived corporations, countries, empires, you name it. Gold has outlived it. that's kind of what I see. And then what happens is when we do have our economic collapse, I believe that the Fed is going to bypass the U.S. government. The central bankers are going to inject cash directly into the pockets of the working class and the poor, who are already kind of subject to EBT cards and food cards and electronic forms of payment. So they're going to probably like the digital Fed coin that they're going to get. And I think that's what, when everything takes a dump, the Fed's going to come out and be on top by issuing digital Fed coins. But what's the problem with that? The problem is everyone will be forced to take it. Small merchants will be forced to take it. At some point, I believe that they're trying to move us into a digital cashless society, which is extremely dangerous, because now all of a sudden you've got your official digital Fed account. That's where you get all your money from, and that's where all the transfers from all your customers come from now, because they can take a look at it and they can know whether you paid taxes on it or not. So very dangerous stuff here. I've gone into how bad I think that the idea of getting into the crypto age, thinking that digital numbers and encryption is real money. It's no more real money than digital paper dollars that have serial numbers written across them. All right, it's fiat, fiat, fiat. All right, I could just drone on, I can. So, and I'm not going to. Fed balance sheet versus gold price, really killer charts on macro trends. I recommend. You can have this for free. They don't charge anything for it. They just kind of give you a bunch of annoying ads like everyone else does. Let's take a look at Wall Street silver. What's going on out there? Hold on. Bond prices set to implode. Peter Schiff. I like Peter Schiff. And his video is down here. I didn't listen to this, but it is on Zero Hedge, ZH, and one of my favorite websites out there because they give you multiple opinions instead of the single narrative that the mainstream media gives, single corporate narrative that mainstream media gives you. There's macro trends again. I'm going to keep this video fairly short. I already did a 50-minute video this morning talking to air. I hope my microphone's working. I really do. And I hope it doesn't sound too awful. Sorry about that, folks. Let's take a look at Wall Street silver. I'm always taking, one thing I want to do is I want to thank Wall Street silver moderators, and I'd like to thank the Wall Street silver members out there for allowing me to post my videos out here. And so far, the response has been pretty good. There's been no negative comments, and it's very civil. I like this group. They're very civil out there, and there's a lot of cool stuff to learn. And again, I'd like to thank the members and the moderators for allowing me to post my videos out here. A lot of cool stuff out here to talk about. One thing that kind of surprised me is I felt, again, my UK friends and the people in Europe, I noticed some guy on here had bought a bunch of, oh, it's not here now, and I probably can't find it. It was on this morning's video. A gentleman from the UK had bought silver, and it was really a good deal. He had bought a monster box of, there it is, right in front of me. I'm glad I found it again, because I really wanted to show this to you. Again, this is what I'm afraid this country is going to be like when it comes to taxes, not just sales tax, but national taxes too, and that's kind of what VAT is. This gentleman got a great deal. I did the math on a monster box of Britannias, okay? Really good deal. I believe that was the ship price and everything. No delivery, actually. Take a look at that. But look what he paid in VAT taxes, folks. I mean, that just added to, I mean, can you imagine? He paid a fair premium. He got him at a fair premium, about what you pay with me or other dealers out there once you do the conversion to pounds to dollars. However, he spent about $2,700 US in taxes, man, in addition to his purchase. That's just insane. That's hard to make up. And I certainly hope that, I'm glad they're getting good deals on the premiums in UK, because they're getting it stuck up the ass with VAT taxes. Again, I feel for you folks out there. I don't think any of you like paying it either. And to the people in this country, trust me, they're moving to a cashless society where you will not get away with not paying VAT taxes or any other taxes they throw upon you. Your purchases in bullion will be basically, I don't even know what you're going to do, because they're going to try to nail you. We need to avoid a cashless society like we avoid plagues. I don't even know if we've done a good job at that. So, well, not a good choice of words. And LCS, nice to see the Wall Street silver stackers out there putting some cool stuff out here. Best deals out there in Silverland right now are still, try not to be spending more than $4 per ounce if you don't have to. Most generic products and most products, good products are available out there at spot plus $3 to $4. in small quantities. So if you're paying $5, $6, $7 premium stuff, stop, man, stop. Buy something nice, beautiful, and shiny, and go have a good dinner with that money instead, and put the money back in silver. Don't be paying ridiculous premiums. Lots of cool stuff. Love to see these stackers out there, but remember, make sure you keep real anonymous, because you don't want people to know you got gold and silver. And oh boy, here's my kilo out of the market, fellow. You know, I've got misgivings about this kind of stuff. These look like they're what we call garage poured bars in the industry. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. The issue with this kind of stuff, and even the issue with these little private mentors that make stuff in the garage, you know, design, fashion design stuff, they're marking it $9.99. However, there are some legal obligations and implications involved with that. And the other problem with like these kind of bars is, unless you have XRF, you know, X-ray, it's hard for anyone to tell if these are 0.995, 0.99, you know, 0.9597, 0.999. So I'd recommend most people stay away from it. And big mistake a lot of newbies make out there: don't take your mother's silverware, your old silverware. Certainly don't take your neighbor's silverware. Don't take any silverware or anything and melt it down, or jewelry, and especially jewelry. Jewelry's loaded with lead and all kinds of crap. So don't take jewelry, especially melt bars, and think you made yourself a bar. All you did was make yourself a bigger headache when you go to sell it. God, these are so cool. I love these. I don't know what the premium, I wouldn't pay the premium for them if it was super high, but man, those are just so cool. I wish you could buy these kind of products for spot plus, you know, even $4 an ounce I'd pay. Those are just cool. And I don't really ever offer to pony up. I just like those little Valcombi chips, and maybe just the cool factor. See, I get suckered into cool factor and shiny shit too. Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's buy some more silver here, see what happens. 1 kilogram bar seems to be a good deal out there for a lot of guys. And what else here? Silver dollars. This, you know, unless you can buy, there's only 0.77 ounces in a silver dollar. Unless you can buy silver dollars for, you know, like less than $20 each, really, I mean, they're probably about 18 or $19 in melt or something like that now. Even at $3 over, puts them at 21 or 20. It puts them like around $22, same as constitutional stuff in caps, you know, modern constitutional mint dollars. However, these out in the wholesale market, dealers are paying $25 to $30 just for crap braids. So that means they're selling them for a few bucks more. It's not worth it. You know, again, stick with cheaper premium stuff. However, it is cool to own silver dollars. You know, if you're in them at a right price, don't worry about it. I'm not knocking the product. I'm just kind of knocking the premiums that stuff is bringing right now. Again, best deal is anything you can pay spot plus $4. Well, I'm going to move out of here. I did a 50-minute video already, so I guess I'll keep this one. My best video ever, no sound. I think the fish enjoyed it, though. I really do. Well, I appreciate everybody watching yesterday's video. And by the way, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, especially the subscribe button. It lets me know that people are actually watching, which is nice to hear, especially when you do an hour video and no one listens to it. That was I got to tell you, that was the most frustrated I've been in quite some time. And it was a good video, too. I was talking to myself the whole time. Maybe that's what I'm doing now. Oh, no. Let's go to the newest comments. I'm going to answer some questions here, and then I'm going to move into closing it up for the weekend because, hey, it's the weekend. Hot Weed says, yes, we can, sir. I can't argue with that. Everyone can. Gomer says, riding the metal roller coaster. Like that name, the metal roller coaster. What a great... I think I'll start trying to use that more often, the metal roller coaster. In the morning, the Holland is when they kick it. Yeah. Hey, Dennis, I really appreciate you commenting, and nice to see someone from Holland watching. Glad you have a good local dealer there yourself, I hope. And yeah, they probably, when you're getting it in the afternoon, it's probably happening somewhere in the evening somewhere or whatever. But yeah, they do kick it. Guy, thanks for watching, and I appreciate you telling me that. And Silver Loving Lou, you as well. Tree Climber, enjoy watching chart. It's past history without bias. That's a good way to look at it. Love the term monkey hammering. I do too, except I don't like watching it being done. Why? Because it usually involves hurting smaller people, smaller investors. Now, when the big commercial banks get monkey hammered, it puts a little smile on my face. And if comics got handled, but the comics doesn't get hammered. You know why? Because COMEX is the casino. They make money on every trade they do, and that, you know, this is why they favor these big commercial banks. They give them special treatment for sure. COMEX does, CME does. They let the short positions get away with a lot of bullshit. And the reason they do that is because they make a lot of money off those short positions, more than they do long positions, if I'm correct. So they let them get away with that. But hey, we've talked about that many times. Hey, Bo, I absolutely agree. Let's go, Bo. I gotta be careful saying stuff. Joey, hey man, nice talking to you this morning. I did do the second video here, as you can tell, but man, you missed a great one. Everyone missed a great one. I missed the great one. There goes breakfast. Hey, Zipper Fixer, what's going on? Best Seed Orchid says, I'm extremely rare, perhaps only one honest precious metal YouTuber. Well, thank you for saying that. I'm sure there's a lot of us out there. You just got to really search for them. For some reason, YouTube seems to like dishonest ones. No, I'm only teasing. Do you think that governments will end manipulation, holding down prices of? Well, here's the thing, Best Seed, is that it's not governments holding down the price of silver. There's different entities here, and I'm going to explain. Ted Butler talks about the entities in silver that screw with silver, and it's done it in COMEX. It's done with a nod from CME. It's short positions, major, huge short positions in COMEX silver by 4 to 8 commercial banks whose only goal is to get rich and manipulate the market down. They're not there to hedge. They're not there to do anything else. They're not even there to speculate. They can take the huge amount of money they have and move a small market like silver around very easily. And again, their only goal to make money, okay? Generally speaking, there's nothing wrong with making money, except when you're doing it. There's no law that says that's fraudulent, but the CME, the equivalent is the CME allowing it to happen, is just exactly what I was talking about at the casino. Say you're at a casino and you got the billionaires sitting at the table, and the casino says, you know what, we're going to give all the billionaires, you know, an extra edge. We're going to give them a couple percent edge. We're going to make it easier for them to win versus you small guys. In fact, and basically what that's doing is, if you're sitting at the table with the big whales, which we all are, and the casino allows the whales to special deals and lets them get away with special shit just so they can make more money, it hurts the smaller players at the table, and that's exactly what we got going on, okay? However, with casinos know that if the public, the small people, found out that they were rigging it for the big whales at the table, I don't know if they do or not, I kind of doubt it, then nobody would come to play at their marketplace, all right? So this is kind of the crossroads we're at. Hey, I appreciate you watching, I really do, and thanks for commenting, and thanks for that nice comment about me being the only honest guy out there. I'm sure there's others out there, but it's nice to hear that. Robert Kennedy, buy what you like and stop buying what I like. And you also mentioned, would I ship for $50,000? Unfortunately, I cannot. I'm a brick and mortar only. I'm not set up to do that. And but if you came down here, I'd certainly buy you, not buy you, but I'd make you a cup of coffee, and certainly would talk to you here as much as I can and take care of you the best I could. I give everyone a good deal, whether you're buying, $50 worth of stuff or $50,000. I treat everybody equally. I may spend a little more time with the people spending more money, but I treat everybody equally fairly, and I give everybody the same respect, so I don't see people with a lot of money being any better or any worse than people with less money. Unfortunately, in our divisive world, that's kind of what they're trying to push. Well, anyways, that's a whole nother story. RD says you don't really want to see gold and silver go to the moon. It sounds nice, but the world become a very dangerous place. And I agree with you 100%. And I say that all the time. I've said that many times in my video, that we don't want to see $10,000 gold real quickly, because, or real soon, because that would imply that a loaf of bread is going to be $40, not the $4 it is right now. And it's still too high right now, the price of bread, but no, the dollar's too low. The value of the dollar is getting lower and lower. That's really what it is. In a nasty place, all nice things in life would go away. Well, sir, I hate to say it, ma'am, sir, I'm not sure, but it is going away already. And all the nice things in life are going away. And if you look around, you can see pretty much why and how. You can see how the game is rigged. But that's why we buy gold and silver, because we know how the game is rigged, and we're going to come out ahead of this. And you wouldn't want people to worry about your YouTube channel. Let's just put it that way. I know people like to show their bravado about dystopian environments and complete collapse. No, nobody wants that. I don't think anybody wants that, including myself. And I don't think any of my viewers would want to see that. And I agree with you. There are some people out there in a fantasy world. They've got their AR-15s and they've got 10,000 rounds of ammo. And trust me, I don't see it getting to that level in my lifetime. We talked about the definition of hyperinflation the other day, which hyperinflation by true definition means that every month something goes up 50%. So, if you spend $100 one month, the next month it'll be $150, next month it'll be $225. That's hyperinflation. I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon, but we are going to see the ugly head of inflation pop up here, only because of this right here. And where am I going? I'm going back to... Let's see, where is it? There it is. Oh gosh, I can't find it now. I was looking for my chart, and there's a misery chart plan of. All right, so much for charts. Oh, okay, there it is right there. Because of this right here, gold prices and U.S. dollar correlation, and take a look at the price of gold here. This is where we're going. You're going to see gold and silver prices go up dramatically. You're going to see the buying power of the dollar go down, and they're going to just continue to spend. All right, I kind of got lost on where I was going myself. So hey, thanks for watching, RD. I really appreciate that. Jason Reed, thank you, and I appreciate anything I can do to help you to put more money in your pocket and your family's pocket. Ricky Evan, hello from England. Hey, dude, what's up? And I appreciate you UK folks out there watching me. Good to see you posting, Ricky. And silver has gone down after November 5th for the last 7 years. Interesting to see if this is the same this year. Could be a good time to buy. I don't even know what date it is. It's the 5th. So hey, we got Sunday night. Ooh, interesting. Sunday night will be the 7th. Maybe you're right, Ricky. Let's take a look. But no less, I think we're in a good market. And if we do see it get kicked here for November until the end of the year, that's great. Provides a great buying opportunity for a lot of people in the physical markets. And I think, and a fisherman too. Hey, Ricky, I'm a fisherman. Well, you obviously know that. Tight lines to you too, Captain, and thank you very much for watching my videos and responding. And the best to you and your family. Well, that's it. And like I said earlier, you should have seen my morning show. You've seen it. You can see it. You can't hear it. You should have heard my morning show. I could show it to you, but it's just a cursor popping around on the screen. Oh, that's sad. Oh, and disheartening. Well, anyway, hey, thanks for watching. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Call me anytime. Again, we advertise to beat APMEX JMSD Bullion. It's easy for us to do because we can beat their prices. We don't have the overhead they do. Also, we can give good personal service, which is basically impossible for them to do. Not a slight against them, but I always recommend if you can keep that money local, deal with your local coin and precious metal dealer. Same thing with tires, jewelry, whatever. Keep that money in your town. Now, if APMEX, JM, or SD Bullion is in your city, hey, you're keeping it in your town, so there's no problem buying with them. But meanwhile, try to get it local, source local, spend that money local, and keep it in your state at least. Hey, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to you on Monday. Bye now.